It is what it is. Oh my god. Hello. Oh, okay. New setup. Yeah, echoes, I know. It should be fine now. This always freaking happens. Okay, hold on. Hi Sam. Hi Monster. How's it going? Okay, I think that's zoomed in enough. You know, I could turn the camera off while I'm doing this, but it is what it is. How's it going, guys? Guys, look what we have here. We have our art project. Oh, you think I forgot? No. I've got our art project here. We're slow and steady this time. Slow and steady. We're not rushing anything. We're doing every single step like as slow as humanly possible, because I think that's what we need to do. So anyway, so the next step we're gonna do Mahjong later. The next step in the process is we need to finish it. So I'm just gonna use this gloss varnish, and I'm just gonna do a thin coat over it. So if you recall, I did a version of this before, and then I accidentally ruined it because I didn't. It was just we rushed through it, and you know what? You need to take your time with these things. So when I tried to make the plaster mold, it like stuck to the actual clay, and then it's like damaged the clay a bit. So I was like, okay, we're gonna make version 2.0. And that's what we've done here. So I'm just gonna do a light coat of this varnish, and we're gonna just do one coat for now, and then we'll come back to it at a later time. But yeah, slow and steady. So again, we haven't done anything with the mushrooms yet. So for those who are new, we're making a mushroom sculpture. That's what this is gonna eventually be. A mushroom sculpture. And if you're wondering, wait, how do I turn this into mushrooms? Good question. This is clay, air dry clay. We're going to make a mold of the clay out of plaster. And then using the plaster is what we're going to put all the mushroom materials in. And then we're going to grow the mycelium of the mushroom in the plaster. And so I've grown stuff out of mycelium before. So, and I've grown mushrooms before. So I'm not new to this. But I am new to this whole idea of like making a mold and shit. Because last time all I did was I made a brick, which was like, a really simple shape. So, yeah. But I hope everyone had a nice and restful weekend. I tried to just like completely disconnect this weekend from everything going on. As many of you know, I have a new job opportunity that I said yes to, and that has been very stressful. I've been teaching English evening classes, so that's been something. The students of the class are probably as advanced English as me, if we're gonna be honest with you. It's a college level English course, I would say. And so, am I qualified to teach that? Absolutely not. But you know what? Because it's a nonprofit, I don't have a choice. And they don't have a choice. It's a free class. It's a free English class. So at least they're not paying for it. So I'm substituting for that. I got asked to substitute the morning class as well tomorrow. So we're just going to be doing that. And I had a topic for today that I was pondering and thinking about. So if anybody wants to answer my question of the day, my question of the day is, when's the last time you dove headfirst into something? Because that's what I currently feel like I'm doing with life. I'm just diving in. I'm going in headfirst. Like it or not, I'm doing it. And by the way, I know this is like kind of lumpy. It doesn't really matter. The mycelium is it's gonna be imperfect anyway, so I'm not too concerned about the fact that the top of this is like lumpy and stuff. I made this in a hurry, but I'm still pretty pleased with how it turned out, all things considered. I think I did it in like a third less of the time, so not too bad. But yeah, so anyway, we're just jumping right in. Toby's freaking out in the background. She wants to play. We're jumping right into life. We're saying yes to life. Because we don't really have a choice. We don't really have a choice to say no. Financially, I don't have a choice to say no to these opportunities. So I'm saying yes. And is it extremely stressful? Absolutely. But, you know, I was doing yoga yesterday. And when I was doing yoga, I was noticing that the closer I was to the wall, I was trying to do these balancing poses. And I noticed if I did the balancing pose close to the wall, I actually had worse balance than if I didn't have the wall there to catch me. So, I feel like that's kind of like a metaphor for what's going on, you know? Like sometimes you just have to dive in completely unsupported and go for it, because if you have those guardrails up all the time, you might not be able to push yourself, you know? Sam says, what's something you said no to today because it would have been for someone else and not for you? That's a good question. I considered saying no to them asking me to substitute for the morning class. But I said yes to that because I need money. I desperately need the money. So I'll be teaching for 6 hours tomorrow. At least I don't have to make the lesson plan for that. So that's good. Today, I would say I don't have an example for you. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't say no often. That's just kind of my personality. Well, and also like these days I'm trying to say yes to more things. Trying to say yes to life. So, sometimes I feel like I almost thrive in stressful situations. Like right now I'm pretty chill. Even though I've got a lot of stressful stuff going on. I'm pretty chill, all things considered. My body handles stress really well when it's in the moment. When it's anticipating stress, when it's anticipating something bad happening, then I don't handle that well. The anticipation. But when I'm in the midst of it, that's a different story. Okay, I still need to do this corner. So we're just gonna dump in a bit more. Monster says, everything with mass has gravity. Walls are yoga's greatest enemy. Yeah, maybe the gravity is... I don't know how much the gravity is of the wall, but yeah. I think it's... So, philosophically, if we want to think about it like in philosophical terms, I think it's because, like, subconsciously, if you know the wall's going to be there, then you're not going to try as hard. Because you know that the wall will catch you. At least that's how it works with me. If I know the wall's going to catch me, then I will almost subconsciously lean towards the wall as I'm doing the pose. And that compromises, because when you're actually doing a balancing pose, you want to make sure to have good form, right? Good posture, good form. And I found that I do not have good form when I'm doing a pose next to the wall, because I'm anticipating that I will fall. It's almost like setting yourself up to fail, you know? Like setting yourself up anticipating, I'm gonna fail, so I might as well have this here. And I don't think that's a good way to approach things, being like having the anticipation of yourself failing. Sometimes you just have to jump into it and hope that your body will know what to do. And for something as easy as balancing, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy, obviously, but the risk of you injuring yourself is not super high. And in fact, you're more likely to injure yourself if you're not listening to your body and instead like focusing on external things. So I trust your body. Trust that your body knows what to do. That's what I've been learning recently, is like I need to trust my body. I need to trust that I will catch myself if I fall, and I will catch myself in a way that doesn't injure myself. Okay, so I see a couple bare patches. I'm just gonna go in and cover those, and then we'll be ready to play Mahjong. So yeah, that's all we're doing for the art project, is we're just doing this one coat. I'm gonna go rinse off everything in a second, but yeah, so this basically seals the clay so that it doesn't absorb, it doesn't absorb the moisture from the plaster and vice versa. Now, I wanted to use all natural materials, all like earth-based materials. I know that like silicone is somehow mineral-based. I don't know, I'm not familiar with materials. But I know that with silicone, it's like, it just never breaks down. And yeah, I don't know. I'd prefer to use plaster. That's just my thing. I've seen other mycelium artists use plaster, so that's another thing that like prompted me. I kind of want to like use the industry standard, if that makes sense. So, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to rinse out this cup. So give me 1 second, and then we will play Mahjong. It'll be so fun. Is that 2 layers or 3? This is actually only 1 layer. I'm gonna do another layer later. Yeah, because I'm gonna let the first layer dry, and then I'm gonna add another layer. I don't know. Like I feel like if I add too many layers in quick succession, it will like lift up off of the clay. So I might add another layer at the end of the stream. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because that'll be enough time. Like a couple hours, yeah. That'll be enough time. Okay, so give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We are back. We are back. Okay, so that's the first coat. Now we're gonna move on to our Mahjong. I wanted to have a slight political discussion, so if people are not interested in that, then feel free to leave. But I just wanted to discuss a bit some relevant discussion. Don't worry, it's not gonna be like too bad. Just some thoughts that I had. Just a few thoughts that I had. Because I went to like my community space on Sunday, and the topic of discussion was kind kind of supporting each other during these difficult times. And there were a few things that were mentioned that I thought were really interesting. Here, I'm gonna mute this while I dump my tiles, because it's gonna be really, really loud. So give me 1 second. Okay, that was so loud. So you're welcome for me muting that, because wow. Okay, so hello, Eclecte. How's it going, my friend? Oh my gosh, Eclecte, it's so nice to see you. I hope the rest of your streams went well on this weekend. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to make it to the rest of them. I had so much going on. But I hope you are well. We were just about to talk about a little bit of politics, just a little taste. Not too stressful, I think. Not too stressful, hopefully. Just some of my thoughts about everything. So I went to this community gathering, and it was the mood was, oh, let's all hold each other. Let's all hold a space for each other to kind of vent about all the drama going on in the United States. And I think it was a good temperature gauge for current sentiment. Although I will say this, 95% of the people there were white and middle class. So it was a temperature gauge for the white middle class population of America. So, and that captures a lot of the Utah population, to be fair. But anyway, so people were all discussing I don't know what to do. I feel so helpless. I feel so scared. I feel like my family. I have a multicultural family. What do I do? I'm afraid for their safety, and it's this. There were some mentions of well, this is nothing new. We shouldn't be surprised. I mean, all empires fall eventually, like Rome, and again, I'm not sharing my personal thoughts. I'm sharing what was shared by, I want to say 50 or so people. It was a circle of 40 to 50 people, and there was a lot of pain and a lot of despair and a lot of helplessness. One thing I noticed though is that, and I've noticed this when I talk to a lot of people, is everybody keeps asking everybody keeps mentioning if somebody just has a great idea to unify everyone and fight back, then I'll be on board. Somebody please, somebody do something, please. And I felt that way before, where it's somebody do something. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of people who have that opinion, and honestly, I'm tired of having that opinion. I'm tired of waiting for somebody else to solve my problem. We are the people who have to do something. It's not somebody. It's not one person who's just going to come up with this magical idea that's going to solve everything and it'll all be better and sunshine and rainbows. We have to do something. I have to do something. Every single one of us has to do something. And so there were some discussions of okay, what can we do? It always tends to be a discussion about everything sucks. Everything sucks. But then there's no here's what we can do about it. Which I know that it's important to vent. It's important to have third spaces where we get our stress out, we get our tension out, and I think that's good. And I'm not critical of that at all. I think that's actually what more people need to do, is like vent and let out their frustration in constructive ways. Because, you know, a non-constructive way I would see would be violence. I would see like meeting force with force is never a good solution, in my opinion. So somebody mentioned, her name is Sarah. She is, I want to say in her 60s, and she's trans. And, you know, she has a bunch of different intersectionalities. But she said something about how, you know, it doesn't, it doesn't really work to meet force with force. What works is the people who show up to protest and like blow bubbles and like dress like a banana and like just have a party, like and at first that struck me like, what? What does that mean? But then I thought about it more, and I think what she meant was like, we have to, and this, Sam, I get what you're saying, but hold on, I think we have to prove, and this could be true for one side or the other, we have to prove that we can find our own happiness despite the shit that is done to us. Gandhi didn't blow bubbles. Okay, well, that's your opinion. I mean, I like the sentiment of like, we find your own community, find your own happiness despite everything that people do. There has to be a mixture of peace and fight. Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, it's build up the community, smile, find happiness. Yeah, that. Because, like, I will say, as far as, like, left-leaning communities, you know, the current power structure that exists in the United States thrives off of chaos and division and hatred, and so when the left shows despair and pain and suffering, I believe that is just feeding into what they already want. And by they, listen, I hate saying they. I wish we could get rid of they this, they that, billionaires this, Republicans this, they this, they. Like, the stereotypes need to stop. That's my personal opinion. I know people might not agree with that. There needs to be this end of a category, and everybody within that category is the same way. People are much more diverse than that, in my opinion. Sam says we all need to be able to find community and happiness. Absolutely. But actually getting people in power to change is not going to happen because a bunch of people chanting and singing and dancing. Yes. However, do you think, and this is just a question, do you think that it would be better if we, because a lot of people say, well, let's just go out and vote, and as long as we get a Democrat in there, it's gonna all be fine. I don't think I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that because what's gonna happen? It's just gonna pendulum swing again. When it pendulum swings back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, like, we're not fixing anything. So if our guy wins, I don't know if that's the right approach. but that's my personal opinion. Okay. So we're gonna build the turtle, 8 by 8. This is gonna be fun. I'm ready to have fun. People fight for rights in all types of ways. I don't believe it's linear. Yeah. And I think the best way to take back your power, because a lot of people are feeling powerless. So what's a way that you can take back your power? How is the world currently run? How does power work? Where does a lot of power originate? Money. I believe that a lot of the power in the world comes from money. And so maybe what you can do is make more informed decisions about where you spend your money and which companies you give your money to. Now, I know that I'm being extremely hypocritical, because I technically work for Jeff Bezos as a streamer. So this is a deliberation I thought about like over and over and over again. Like, I think I'm part of the problem because I am streaming on Twitch. I am indirectly supporting Jeff Bezos. Like, I am, I'm buying all my stuff from Amazon. I'm like fucking, and it's like, is it possible to separate yourself from that? I don't know. I heard a solution that was like, grow your own food. And I like that, where it's like, make your own things, grow your own food. Depend less. I think we need to depend less on the system that is presented to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. We need to withdraw a bit. We need to withdraw our power, restore our power. Monster says, I personally feel like people can't do anything about who's in power, because if they could, many people who are in power would never come close to their position. Well, I don't know if this is related, Monster, but I think that it's a problem with the system. Like, I get kind of discouraged when people say that the only solution is to go out and vote. Go out and vote. Get the good guys in the office. The good guys will fix everything. And I don't think that, I mean, yes, I know, I get it. But also, like, I think the problem too is like good guys and bad guys. Like, the fact that we are so divided that it's like there has to be, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts. So I guess like Eclecti says, yes, we do use an Amazon streaming service. Yeah. I'm someone who refuses to support any big businesses. I'm anti the system, anti the man. Yeah, that's what I desire to be. But obviously, it's really, really hard to break yourself away from that. We may stream on a bad platform, but we can use it to spread information, joy, and community. That's fair. It just... I think... It's such a complex issue. Again, if I know what the solution was, I would immediately... I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my own conscience clean, and that's all I can do. I can keep my own conscience clean. I can support as many people around me as I can. I can, I help out in my community. I'm an active member of my community. I am nice to people when I go to the grocery store. Like, that's the bare minimum. Can you do that? Can you be nice to people? Fundamentally, sometimes that's all it takes. it's impossible to be 100% avoidant of all bad when these bad men own everything. Yes, everything. Sometimes I've thought, like, okay, is the solution to become a recluse and just, like, completely withdraw from society? Because, you know, I wanted to, like, move to Oregon and, like, along the Pacific Northwest and, like, just withdraw. Like, just literally off-grid, grow my own food, be like, okay, fuck this. I'm not taking away, but I'm also not... And that's the problem. I won't be giving. And I think if I were to do that, then I would be... I don't know if my conscience could be clean at that point. It would be well, I think my conscience would be neutral. I wouldn't feel bad, but I wouldn't feel good. I would just exist. Monster says, that's why I think people are powerful. They aren't all born bad. It's corruption. Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I think that we give these people too much credit. Okay. That's why I think people are powerful. They aren't all born bad. That's... I think we give people too much credit. Too much responsibility. Too much responsibility, too much power is concentrated. Because I feel like nobody does a job that's worth $1 billion. Like, fundamentally, nobody does a job that's worth $1 billion. I think that's the symptom of the system itself. I don't like... It's really, really tricky and challenging because of the way that our wealth has been concentrated, and how, like, sophisticated our systems have been created. I mean, but you think about, like, I've seen different documentaries on YouTube about, like, billionaire perspectives, and, like, a lot of them think that, well, I'm providing value, I'm providing jobs, I'm providing, they think that. I think there's a delusion on both sides. There's a delusion in the place of the billionaire to think, I deserve this much money, which nobody deserves. Nobody can earn fundamentally that much money. But also there's a delusion on the side of the consumers and the workers to think, well, the billionaire, because they have $1 billion, that means they need to carry the weight of the responsibility of $1 billion on their shoulders. And that's the thing I also struggle with, because it's like, I don't think anybody fundamentally can conceptualize $1 billion. So if... I don't know if you know what I mean, but... Hi DCI, I hope it's going well. Today's going well. Sorry, we're having a political discussion right now, so... Monday, am I right? DCI said if there are no billionaires, it would be 100 millionaires next. Yet there would always be someone to hate and to pin all of our problems on. And that is something I'm a bit critical of working class people, of consumers, etc., pinning all their problems on a few individuals who, like I said, they don't deserve that power and influence and whatever, but, like, can they be individually responsible for that much? Like, can they physically like you wield that power responsibly? And I think that's impossible for one individual to do. So it's unrealistic to expect them to be able to do that. It's interesting when you consider the case of Bill Gates, right, who's was like the richest man in the world for a long time and still is one of the richest. Like, he is trying to give a lot of his wealth away and most of his wealth away, but it's when the system is designed in this way, like, it's actually, I feel like it's a little bit difficult to offload all this money that's coming in just because of how it accumulates, I guess. I don't know too much about him and his personal life, but it does seem like he's trying, I guess. Monster says, I know that everybody likes to, I'm not saying like Bill Gates is a good person or anything. Like, I genuinely don't know him or anything about him, but I do like at least that he is trying. Is he trying hard enough? I don't know, but he's trying nonetheless. Okay, Monster says, I agree, but a massive change that distributes that money could ruin the economy, because if everyone has money for anything, then there aren't enough supplies. And then there's hyperinflation. Right. And that's another reason why it's so complex. Like a big, massive change in how our money is circulated could be detrimental. Because if it's detrimental to the economy, then that ends up falling back on the consumers. Right. I mean, who suffers the most at the end of the day? The people at the bottom of the chain, the food chain. So if we were to cause any sort of big change, I think that it could potentially cause more suffering for people. So it's like, I don't know, but not saying it's worse very long term, but it could spiral very quick. Yeah, maybe like not a big dramatic change, but maybe like I don't know. DCR said, it's so short-sighted for people to hate on billionaires when it's government policy that allows it. Yeah, although to be fair, DCI, I know that we shouldn't ignore the fact that, you know, that lobbying does occur, lobbying to get more tax breaks and easier, you know, those policies don't create themselves. Like, I'm sure they are created with a lot of influence from the billionaires, but also like the government is also to blame for allowing themselves to be lobbied, I guess. Chuck Feeney gave his entire wealth, billions of people don't even know his name. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard of this person before. Let me see. I guess one question we could ask ourselves is, what would you do? Oh my God, not that one. Okay, this one. What would you do if you had $1 billion? What would you do? What would you do? Oh, that's interesting. So he he recently passed away. That's too bad. We'll see. One of the greatest philanthropists ever. Dedicated to giving every way he had. In the 1980s, at the height of his entrepreneurial success, he gave his entire stake in his company to his foundation and spent the next 32 years awarding all that money to nonprofits. Yeah. And he gave away, oh damn, $8 billion. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I have not heard of this person. Well, that's inspiring. And I enjoy that. I enjoyed learning about that story. Thank you for sharing. DCR said Dr. Ruth Gottsman gave her $1 billion away to pay for medical college fees. No one celebrates her either. Yeah, we should definitely celebrate. But yes, eclectic exceptions. These are many exceptions. Not a lot of billionaires are this. I don't even know how many billionaires there are in the world, but I'd imagine there's a lot more than these people who give away all their wealth. Eclectic says, I think the government is to blame for everything, but also the millionaires end up using their money for horrible things. Poor people do horrible things. Everyone does horrible things. But I'm the space that the rich hold is much different. DCI says, yes, they are to blame to allow the possibilities to be made. And we're to blame for not being collectively smart enough to vote for and ask for the right things of our government. And DCI, so I want to address that. I don't think it's a problem of smart. I don't think it's a problem of intelligence. This is something that I discussed last week, where it was like, because I'm back in the rat race. I'm back in the rat race, baby. Woohoo! I'm working, I want to say like a full-time teaching schedule these days. And I noticed that when I started doing that, holy fuck, I don't have time to do anything. I don't have time to, like, when I wake up in the morning to when I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, all I think about is like how to prepare for my job. And then when I go to bed, it's like decompressing for my job. And it's like the entire day it revolves around this one thing. The whole concept of like self-actualization and like thinking about things in a sophisticated level, goodbye. You know, like, well, it's not completely goodbye, but like most of it is like out the window. I simply do not have time. And so, like, I don't blame people for not being able to have the higher level thinking, because I just feel like, yes, they do have the capacity for it. It's just, they don't have the luxury of being able to pull themselves away from their suffering, away from their situation, pull themselves out, do some self-reflection, think about the big picture. I think that's the problem, is that people are just so damn busy that they don't have time. Thank you. Yeah, well, it's just for the near future, so probably for like a couple weeks. Who knows, but yeah, it's been interesting. So that's one of the things I just dove headfirst into, helping out there. So yeah, it's been quite stressful, but it is what it is. At least I'm creating value. I'm making money. Right? That's what we got to do. We got to make money. Make money until we can't no more. All right. Let's see. This goes here. So this one's not blocked. Monster says, I also never heard about that, and that's super cool, but also on Wikipedia. I know not the most reliable source, but he donated his fortune anonymously, so that's probably why. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it didn't seem like he was motivated by the attention. The, look at this good thing that I did. However, I think Bill Gates, on the other hand, is a bit more open about, like, look at me, I'm giving all my money away. But honestly, like, at the end of the day, the money's being given away. So whether you're doing that for egotistical reasons or non-egotistical reasons, doesn't really matter to me. Like, as long as you're doing it. That's my personal opinion. But let's see. DCI said, billionaires are also detached from being able to accurately understand the difficulties that others experience. Absolutely. Yeah, they do not have awareness of the everyday life of somebody who is lower down, and vice versa. I think it's important to note that and vice versa is also applicable. We also do not know what it's like to be a billionaire. There's such a huge divide in power that it causes people to be kind of, I don't know, so segmented. We just don't know. They don't know that commuting 2 hours each way to a minimum wage job means they can't find the time to keep up with politics or ensure they're eating healthy or pay a visit to the doctor. They just think they have those things taken care of. Yes. Yeah, when you're commuting 2 hours to your job, when you're working kind of a more menial job, a job that doesn't really, a job that's very like robotic and very like, that's exhausting. Doing a job where it's like, you don't even know what you're producing. You don't know, like, if you're producing like an abstract concept, like most people are, you're not directly connected to the thing that you're producing. You're not like sitting there, you got some leather, you like make a shoe or something, and you see the whole process from start to finish. A lot of us in the Western world, we don't, that's not what we're doing. We're making like, we're helping with the billing for insurance, and we're doing medical charts, and we're like, most of what we do is like sitting into it, and I'm talking about corporate America, but you just sit in front of a computer and you type away. You're not moving. You're not like physically creating anything, but you are mentally creating things. And I think there's something about creating something physically with your hands that helps with the completion in your mind. Like if you are not able to see the final product of your work, which a lot of people aren't, I feel like that's detrimental to your mental health. Like not being able to see how you contribute, not being able to see how you provide value, even if you are, I would say is like, and that's what Paul Goodman talks about in his book, Growing Up Absurd. We're going to read that at one point. All right, I just finished my green sludge. I'm going to go get another beverage. Well, I got my water here, never mind. $1 billion is only $1,000 for 1 million people. Green sludge. Yeah, it's my green sludge. Hello. Can I help you? Please don't knock over my tower. Please do not knock over my... Hi. Can I help you? Would you like to smell my breath? I love you. You are so adorable. She's here. She thought she'd stop by. This is Toby. Let's see. Monster says, I agree. They don't experience economic changes the same way. I think it's easy to ignore prices when you know you can afford the item. It sounds bad, but I think it's a normal human thing. Yes, I've lived through periods of my life where I did have a significant amount, like an amount of money. You know you've made it when you can go to a restaurant and you can just order anything, you know? I've been at points in my life where I'm able to go to a restaurant and just order something without looking at the price. And that's a very comforting feeling. But I've also been at points in my life where I go to a restaurant and I'm looking at every single thing and calculating what's the cheapest thing I can get on here, while still like not getting something off the kids menu, you know? Much more of my life has been spent doing the one where I look at the most inexpensive option, the cheapest option. And yeah, when you're at that point where you just don't understand how much things cost, it's very, that takes a huge load off of your shoulders when it's not like a constant thinking about how things add up, like a constant anxiety of like, will everything that I purchase that I need, will that, you know, put me over the edge? DCI said, a billionaire I don't like, I'll caveat that, was asked why they don't just go and fix homelessness with their money. And they replied, okay, tell me how my amount of money can achieve that. I'm all ears. And it wasn't possible. DCI, would you agree with that? Because actually, yeah, yeah. Not that I like to hear it, and not that I don't know who it is that said that, but it's a lot of the world's problems are a lot more complex than just delivering the money and hoping the money will fix it. Like, especially when you have to deal with nonprofits, when you deal with like corruption. A lot of the papers that I read for my master's degree had to do with basically just explaining how it's not as simple as just like, oh, we'll give aid to this country and everything will be fine. It was more of like a case study of here's when a country gave this sum of money to this country, and here's how it fell to corruption, and none of it was actually used in the right way. So yes, I will concede that it's a lot more complex than just like money here, problem solved. However, I don't think that means we should stop that doesn't mean we shouldn't stop donating to charities and supporting charities and putting out money and being generous and giving and etc. We can't. I would just say we can't just depend on money to fix all of our problems, I guess. So that's only 0.03% of the U.S. population. Interesting. Monster says, I've heard Jeff Bezos could give everyone on Earth, including billionaires, $2 billion each and still be the richest person ever. I don't believe that entirely, but what's your view on that take? Well, if everybody... I'll take my favorite quote from The Incredibles of Syndrome. Well, if everybody's super, nobody is. Because if everybody has $2 billion more, there would still be... Then that would just devalue the $2 billion because it would all be equal. There has to be scarcity in order for the economics to work. So if everybody had exactly, it's as if no money was given. If everybody was given the same amount. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I mean, I think I could be ill-informed, but I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the stimulus checks that were sent out during 2020, 2021, why they led to inflation was because when you add more money, all it does is devalue the money that's already in the system, I guess. So the problem is the inequity. Eclectic says, I think if a few millionaires cared, or even if our government cared, the homeless population could be helped. Though money won't solve the issue because it's a city issue, a mental issue, and a community issue. Yeah, it's more than just a money issue. If you look at, there's a ton of YouTube videos out there, and I know that this isn't it doesn't necessarily accurately capture every homeless person, but a lot of the interviews you'll hear from people who are living out on the street, a lot of them enjoy it, or would not choose to live differently, given the current structure and the current system. So that's something interesting to think about. It's because there just fundamentally isn't the appropriate structure in place to support people to get out of that situation. People would rather live in that situation than face the alternative. Monster says, I was curious about this, so I did 78 million times 20 years, and that's 569 billion. And that's the low end. The average is 89 million per day, which is almost 650 billion in 20 years. It's crazy. Math and money. Hi Chaotic, how's it going? I hope you're doing well too. We've been talking a bit about politics, although maybe we can wrap up our discussion about that. Because I don't know. I feel like we've been beating a dead horse. I think sometimes it's important, like, yes, to think about these types of things, but if they start to like go around in circles, then you can decide to be like, okay, I'm done. Chaotic is doing really well. We're feeling really energized and elevated. Hell yeah. I love that. Shall we? I think we should watch something inspiring. In that mood. You guys, I wanted to watch this documentary, or this video. At least part of it. We Are the Art. From Brandon Sanderson. Very inspiring. So, transitioning our topic to AI art, I thought this video is very interesting. Chaotic says, I'm trying to establish some goals for myself and make myself motivated. Hell yeah! I love that. Good for you. You want to share any of your goals that you've made? Okay. I'm going to... That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm going to plug in my phone and charge it. What's up, Beijing? Hey, Eris, what's up? 1 second, I'm transitioning my camera. Hold on. We were doing some of our art project, and then now we're doing some Mahjong, and then now we are looking at an inspire. We're talking about billionaires. We're talking about the world situation. We're talking about how we can stop feeling powerless. A lot of good things. So I'm just moving my. Oops. Let's see. 1 sec. I would highly recommend Eris's streams. He also had a very engaging discussion about billionaires, which kind of inspired my discussion today. Don't get Eris started yet. Well, it kind of slightly inspired. You know, I always get inspired by streams that I go to throughout the week, and so that was one of the things that inspired me. But the other thing that inspired me was when I met with my community and got a temperature gauge on what people are feeling. So let's see, TLDR. The TLDR is a lot of people are feeling powerless. A lot of people are saying, I wish somebody would do something. Someone do something. Someone, please. And I've fallen victim to that mindset often. However, I think it's time for us all individually to say, I'm going to do something. I'm doing something. I'm not going to wait for anybody else to initiate something. I'm going to do something. And I'm going to figure out what that is. I'm going to try my best in my community. I'm going to try my best to take my power back in with how I spend my money, where I spend it, who I give my money to. I'm going to take back my power in creating uplifting communities, like communities where everybody lifts each other up and supports each other and branches out into their creativity. Monster says, I don't live in the US, so my problems aren't as bad. Sorry, everyone. I am poor, though. Well, suffering is relative, Monster, so yeah. I mean, I don't know your situation, but it's okay. You don't have to, you don't have to feel bad for suffering less. It's easy to fall into that mindset because there's somebody always suffering more than you. Oh, you're not suffering. It's okay. Well, By suffering, I meant problems. You will always be able to find somebody who has more problems than you. If you look hard enough. You will always be able to find someone who has like more difficult problems or, you know, is currently undergoing more. And when it's all relative subjectively. It's all subjective. Let's see. People are doing math in the chat, and I'm like, bruh, I cannot. I'm so sorry. I am incapable. Ever since I dropped out of biomedical engineering, I swore off of math forever. I was like, nope, this is not for me. Chaotic says, answering the question of the day, I think it's been years that I don't dive into a project I'm truly interested. Trauma and depression made things impossible for me. Fortunately, I'm getting better. Good. Well, there's no better time to start than now, right? Start now. Do things now. Hello, Tweet. I don't know if I said hi to you, but hello. Welcome, Tweet. I hope you're doing well. Chaotic says, it's okay, don't demerit your own suffering. Yeah, don't demerit your own suffering. We are all struggling, exactly. Peter Singer does a lot of work on finding some actually decent charities. Cool. Yeah, biomedical engineering, dude. I don't know what. Hi, Refly. How's it going? Thank you. I don't know what I was thinking with that. Okay, let's do a meme first before we watch our inspirational video. I want to see my meme. I've got my English. This is my, I'm preparing a lesson plan. It's actually so we already talked about, okay, 1 second. This is a huge aside, but like, this is the lesson I taught last week. And, hello? This is like college level English, dude. Who said that I have the ability to be teaching that? I don't know, but I'm doing it. It's been actually wild. It's been actually crazy. Yeah. My supervisor gave me the excerpt from this book, and oh, sorry, ad break coming. We'll use this tangent as a break before we do our video. I'll just yap about this for a second as people are getting ads. Tweet is majoring in computer science. That's awesome. And Chaotic is studying atmospheric science in uni as an undergrad, so I'm also into STEM. Excellent. Yeah, I have a soft spot for STEM. Although I did leave, I do still enjoy science communication. I do enjoy understanding how the body works. My favorite part of I announced a Refly. You might be in the midst of the ads, but incoming ads. Okay, I'll do that next time. Yeah. So anatomy. I love my anatomy class. That was fun. But anyway, so this is what I'm teaching now. We're returning to science. We're talking about good science, bad science, correlation and causation. We're talking about adjective. So here's an adjective clause. I was mentioning it last week, and so intuitively English speakers, we know about it, but like I just didn't know what it was called. So like, for example, people ignore information that doesn't fit with their beliefs. So like the adjective clause is this underlined part. So it's the clause that describes this adjective. Well, no, it's the clause that's an adjective basically. It works as an adjective to describe this noun. So there's a noun here, and then there's all this that functions as an adjective. Anyway, bruh, I don't know. Okay, so meme time. I would love a lobotomy. I just thought this was cute. sometimes I would just love to not have any thoughts. Just be like, yeah. I would love to be free from my mental suffering. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be right back. Oh, someone free me from this turmoil. Although, I mean it in a metaphorical sense. I don't mean it in an actual sense, because I know how actual lobotomies work. And yeah, they'll fuck you up. There's a reason why they're not allowed anymore. Well, are they allowed still? I feel like they're not allowed. Yeah, what? Not federally illegal. What? Okay, the frontal lobotomy doesn't happen anymore. Okay. So the last one was done in 1967. Ah, interesting. Oof. Okay, well, like, I wouldn't want an actual lobotomy, but the freedom from my mental suffering, I would enjoy. I would enjoy that. I had quite a nice day yesterday. I've been kind of riding the high from that. Literally. Literally. Anyway, yeah, I was free from my mental suffering yesterday. It was nice. Sometimes when I'm doing yoga and I'm high, I feel invincible. Absolutely invincible. Find ways for you to feel invincible. Find ways for you to... It's so... When I tell you, it's so fun to just move all your muscles and realize how sophisticated, like, your body is. Your body is amazing. Oh my gosh, when I think about it, the things my body can do, I didn't even know I was capable of doing them in the past. This year, and I hope the girls are still, I hope we're all still having that goal of doing a handstand. You guys keeping your goal? I'm still working on it. I'm working on my dolphin pose. I'm working on the stabilization of my shoulders. Oh, it's gonna happen. By the end of this year, we're gonna be able to do a handstand. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We can do it. I believe in us. Yeah. The pose that I've recently mastered was Wild Thing. I love doing Wild Thing. So this one is so fun. I love doing this one. So it's like this. So it's kind of like it feels so good for your back. But yeah, I haven't been able to master this one for a long time because my arm just has not been strong enough. So I've only been able to do like a half, what is it? Side plank, like a half side plank. Let's see. Microsoft is rage baiting me right. Wait, why, Monster? Monster said you can earn. Oh, here, you explained it. You can earn Microsoft reward points through Xbox app, which I used to get free money added to your Microsoft balance. It tells me I don't have a phone number, so I add mine. Then it takes me through a lengthy verification process. Then it says, this alias cannot be added. Choose another alias. I hate it when that happens. Twitch does something like that too. I've actually known a few people who have like lost their Twitch account. I think this happened to Dom, and I think this happened to a streamer that I knew, or that I know, where they got locked out of their account, and because they don't have a phone number on there, like they fucking they had to create a new account because they didn't have their freaking phone number in there. Or like, this phone number is already being used in a different account. It's my phone number, what are you talking about? When I first created my Twitch account, I didn't realize there was a phone number that was already being used. Like, my phone number was already being used. And, like, the whole process of, like, figuring that shit out was, yeah. Katic says, by the way, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I'm feeling really glad with myself. Yes, share. I'm feeling really glad with myself because today is the 4th day that I keep without eating meat. I'm really proud of myself trying to be a vegetarian. I love that. We're so proud of you. Yes. I love that. Small steps. 4 days. I mean, I never go a day without eating meat. So I think that my next step is maybe I should try doing like a meatless Monday or something. That's where I'm at currently. I try to eat less red meat. I don't eat red meat that often. But wow, I'm so happy for you. That's really awesome. Tweet says, I'm doing 3 sets of 30 seconds, both frog and pike pose. Oh yeah, frog pose is good too. Yeah, you gotta strengthen your arms. Trying to do it since last year, but I couldn't keep consistency up. Well, yes, you need to celebrate your wins where you have them, you know? And that's something to celebrate. Okay, well, I hope your email works. Yeah, that's... And then DCI does Meatless Monday and Thursday. Okay, let's watch our video, shall we? Let's do it. I would like to... you weren't supposed to see that yet. Okay, I want to see this video.
What has been on my mind lately? Some of you are going to be able to guess. In April 2010, film critic Roger Ebert, he made an infamous claim. He said, video games can never be art.
I loved this.
I know. His blog post set off this firestorm of discussion. I was there back then on the internet. I'm old, and everyone was talking about it. Talking about kind of how he's an out-of-touch old man yelling at clouds. Maybe yelling at clouds that were actually shrubs. Mario joke. Some of you old-timers know that. I disagree profoundly with Mr. Ebert, but he was an intelligent, articulate scholar, and he had a better point than this clickbaity quote might imply. His argument was this: games are about mechanics and winning, not about aesthetic enjoyment. So if I'm going to summarize him too briefly, and he wrote a long blog post on this 2 years later, you can still look up on his website. I essentially said that while video games can contain art, such as an amazing digital painting, they are not at their core art, because their focus is on obstacles to overcome in order to win. By being victory-focused, he argued they were an innately commercial product, like a toaster, and not able to be considered art. Now, I'm not going to spend this speech taking down an old essay by a man who's been dead for over a decade now. Anyone who deeply loves video games will know his argument just fails to understand what gaming is on a fundamental level. Those of us who are gamers know that the mechanics themselves can be part of the art. And in fact, video games let us tell stories that you couldn't tell in another medium because the mechanics are part of that artistic experience. Winning isn't the art, but the emotions of winning can be part of it. Why do I bring this up? Well, my goal today is to tackle a few questions that Mr. Ebert raised, which I think are more important today than they've ever been, right? Because my goal is to talk about what is art and why we make it. Now, I know some of you are flinching right now, and you're thinking, Brandon's gonna whinge about AI art again. But no, I'm gonna whinge about AI art again with slides, so it's different.
You came prepared.
In a more relevant way, I want to dig into my own feelings on this topic from a philosophical standpoint, right? The surge of large language...
Refly said, you're probably too young to have seen the Kevin Butler gaming speech at E3. Yeah, probably. I don't usually watch E3, honestly. I'm not that much of a gamer. Although I remember the one notable thing I saw from E3 was like when Jesse Wellens, the YouTuber. He like, I don't know, he was super awkward or something. Yeah, he was like, he choked. He choked for real. I actually really like his videos. I think his videos are really well put together. But like, does he know anything about video games? Like, genuinely? I don't know. Why did they invite that guy? I don't know. Chaotic says, I relate to this a lot. Here at home, there's a big culture of eating meat every day. And I've always gotten into conflict with my family because they felt offended that I was considering stop eating meat. And some of them were provoking me about it to show photos of meat and stuff. What? Okay, that's just rude. Wait, why would they do that? That's weird. I mean, I don't want to like make fun of your family or anything, but if they're like showing you pictures of like taunting you, like, look, do you see this meat? You want to eat it? I know my dad definitely has the perspective of like, if there isn't meat, then it's not a meal. Like that's always been his opinion. Like, if there's no meat, then it's not complete, right? And I don't know. I think Indian food does vegetarian really well. I think all my dad needs to do is try like authentic Indian food, because then I think that might get him to change his mind. I've heard that gets a lot of people to change their mind about vegetarianism, is if they try Indian food. I don't know if I want to play the whole video, but I do want to play kind of the end part. We'll play the end part for the last like few minutes. But he talks about like how in the past people thought video games weren't art, and obviously now, right? I think we would all consider video games to be art. And so is AI the same? Like, can we make the same argument that, oh, well, we're just saying that now, but later it's going to be art, right? And so people will be like, is that just the same thing? So let's see what he says. I might not be skipping. I should have like bookmarked it, but yeah, bro, I just didn't have time. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We'll see.
The purpose of writing all those books in my earlier years wasn't to produce something I could sell. It was to turn me into someone who could create great art. It took an amateur.
Yes. Okay. I love this. I love this point of his. So he talks about how like the process of writing his books, like the first book he ever wrote, he loves it, but also he recognizes that it was not like to his standard. Like, and he probably spent a lot of time on it, writing it. But yeah, it's not as good as his other books. And how he kept writing, and he kept like banging his head against the wall and just like making draft after draft after draft. And yeah.
And it made him a professional. I think this is why I rebel against the AI art products so much, because they steal the opportunity for growth from us. When prose came along, people didn't stop writing poetry. Photography didn't kill painting, and film didn't kill the stage play. Video might have killed the radio star. Video games didn't
He's
kill
very
film.
wholesome.
But how many steel driving men do you see these days? John Henry died and was replaced by a machine that could do his job, but he proved something important about the human spirit. Where will we go when there is no room for humans in art? You might say, well, the egg is good enough, the product is the same. What's the difference? The difference is that the books aren't the product. They aren't the art, not completely. And this is the point. The most important thing to understand is that the process of creating art makes art of you. My friends, let me repeat that. The book, the painting, the film script is not the only art. It's important, but in a way it's a receipt. It's a diploma. The book you write, the painting you create, the music you compose is important and artistic, but it's also a mark of proof that you have done the work to learn, because in the end of it all, you are the art.
I love this.
The most important change made by an artistic endeavor is the change it makes in you. The most important emotions are the ones you feel when writing that story and holding the completed work. I don't care if the AI can create something that is better than what we can create, because it cannot be changed by that creation. Writing a prompt for an LLM, even refining what it spits out, will not make an artist of you, because if you haven't done the hard part, if you haven't watched a book spiral completely out of control, if you haven't written something you thought was wonderful and then had readers get completely lost because your narrative chops aren't strong enough, if you haven't beat your head against the wall of dead ends on a story day after day until you break it down and find the unexpected path, you're not going to have the skill to refine that prompt. The machine will have done the hard part for you, and it doesn't care. It could be writing a shopping list or a story about the death of a family member. It cannot be changed. It can be changed by feeding it more copyrighted material, but creating the new work will not change it. It will not learn, it will not grow, it will not care. Art is useless, as Oscar Wilde said. Therefore, we have the power here and not the machine, for it was created to try to make something useful, but it cannot admire what it made.
Let's see, what did you say? Oh, I'm thinking of my K-pop fan fiction author days. Yeah, this really takes me back. No, but I actually like fully agree with his point of where like art is about the process of like going like this, like, and the process of fucking failing and messing up and then starting over again and making something that kind of looks shitty at first, but then you're like, I can do better, and then you find new you ponder, you think about, you brainstorm, how can I do this differently, how can I do this again. And say all you want about like prompt engineering, or like, creating the AI advertisements requires a lot of prompt engineering, blah, 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 blah. I just simply don't think there is enough mental turmoil that happens when you're prompting AI to create things. There's not enough active attention being paid to what you're creating. There's not enough, it's basically like, you know what? I just had an idea. It's basically using AI to create art is like telling someone else to draw a picture for you. It's like telling somebody else to draw a picture for you or create a sculpture for you. And so therefore, like thank you. If people are curious about prompt engineering, feel free. Although, be careful if you click the link, because it looks like it's not complete. Like, creating AI art is the same as telling someone else to create art for you. You lose, and you lose something in the communication. Something is lost in communication when you're because that's what art is all about. It's about communication. It's about communicating your internal struggle as a human, your individual subjective experience, your unique view of the world and perspective of the world. Like, you are taking that, you are pondering it, you are introspecting, you are condensing it down, and you are thinking about, how can I put this out onto something else? Now, I'm not saying it's like that deep with every single piece you create, because obviously with my little Twitch logo thing, like, I'm not putting my whole heart and soul into it. Well, I kind of am. I'm not saying like you have to create something that like shows what it's like to be mentally ill and like be somebody who struggles with anxiety, and like show what it's like when you're at your worst, and put that on a portrait so that other people can see the depths of your suffering. And that can make great art, and that's great. It doesn't always have to be that. I think it can also just be like a silly little Twitch logo, but it's made out of mycelium, and it took a lot of like it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of like trying over and over and like tweaking it and like adding my personality into it, which is like the mycelium and the mushroom and like the, you know, it's nothing. If it was made by another person, it wouldn't look exactly the same. Like if you look at my little Twitch logo, it's not like a copy paste. And in fact, if you look at the one I made just recently compared to the one I made, the Twitch 1.0, you know, it looks very different. The proportions are different. And so there is that like tiny little difference that you add as a person. As long as you do some drugs, it'll turn out cool. Yeah, that's fair. Hi Dom, how's it going? We're talking about art and how we are the art. And how, no, you'll think it looks cool. You'll think it looks cool. Well, that's all that matters, as long as you think it's cool, right? Normal day. Hell yeah, chillin'. Okay, we just have 1 minute left for his final points. Oops.
For a long while, I thought our position was the same as John Henry, that we were inevitably going to lose. But I'm starting to think that we don't have to. 15 years ago, Roger Ebert made a well-reasoned but ultimately uninformed statement. How many of you here think he was wrong, that video games can be art?
Me.
You're right, not because I say it, but because we as a society say it. That's the great thing about art. We define it and we give it meaning. The machines can spit out manuscript after manuscript after manuscript. They can pile them to the pillars of heaven itself. But all we have to do is say no. If we do, they lose. John Henry couldn't ultimately stop the steam-powered machine, but we can fight the battle and we can win because we get to choose what victory looks like. What is art? Art is what we define it to be. Why do we make art? Well, remember, art is not just the story. It is not just the painting or the sculpture or whatever else you love to create. It's also the process of creation and what that process did to you. We make art because we can't help it. It's part of us. We understand what it is. We are drawn to it because we are of the same substance. We are the arts. Thank you.
Anyway, I like that video. So very inspiring. If you want to watch the whole thing, he goes more into like the lore of John Henry if you don't know who that is. But it sounds like Dom knows John Henry. Wait, is he not necessarily a real person? There's good evidence he was real. Oh, so we don't know whether he was real or not. Well, the story remains important, right? Yeah, the story, whether it be myth or fact, I think remains. The lesson we can learn from it remains the same. So, anyway, we are the art. The whole process of creating art, from like making something mediocre to, you know, making something that you're proud of, that is the whole process of art. Okay, so we're going to go back to our Mahjong. Oops, not that one. There. So hold on, let me just, let me get my camera set up. I allowed my camera to charge, so hopefully it's at a charge where it's not gonna... It really sucks power when I use my camera for my phone camera. But it's okay, it is what it is. Let's see. It's, oh yeah. It's at 100% now. Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna... It's gonna be wonky for a second as I manipulate it. Okay, nope. Yep, okay. Hold on, let me get my stand ready. This is my stand that I'm working with, by the way. So I'm putting it on the... I put the phone on the stand, and then I... Okay. Yay! We did it. I feel like it zoomed out somehow. Whatever. Yeah, it definitely zoomed out. How dare you? Zoom in. Zoom in. Yes, good. Good phone. Good camera. Okay. There. So let's continue our Mahjong. Art is a hard thing to define. Yeah, Dom says, I don't really care about what qualifies as art. To some, it just feels like a pointless topic. Yeah. That's valid. I mean, I think it just depends on... I think for the people who create art, they want to see a document. They want to see a speech like this because it'll keep them motivated. Because I feel like a lot of people are feeling discouraged by the AI art that's coming out, and people need to be re-inspired. I think a big part of art is being inspired. So I liked that video. Been playing a lot. You've been playing a lot of Mahjong? Excellent. Yeah, it's fun. It's on Microsoft. It's way easier than on on my little IRL setup, but it's still fun. I like it. Oh, let me turn my music back on. There we go. Got some little music in the background. Cute. Play on macro hard then. I feel like this is macro hard. Well, that's the thing, Refly. I'm currently playing on macro hard because this is hard. And I feel like it's bigger. It's blown up, so it's macro. Macro hard. Playing macro hard. Anybody else playing macro hard right now? Alright. You guys, I'm gonna do a Valentine's Day stream later this week. I'm very excited. I think it'll be fun. We're gonna decorate Valentine's Day cookies. I know some people don't like celebrating Valentine's Day. I don't usually really, but one thing I do like is decorating cookies, so that's what I will be doing. Because I've got all the supplies. Because last year we decorated cookies with like me and my friends. We did like a little Valentine's Day party. And we decorated cookies, and then... I know it's been a year, but like... It's like... The sprinkles and everything, they last a long time. A bottle cap not attached to the bottle seems so mythical now. What? I am confused. Anyways, I hope everybody's weekend was good. I hope everybody knew they are attached to bottles. Oh, I think that in China they've got bottles like that too. So they don't fall off and get lost. Yeah, that would be nice. Although it can be kind of a pain to open those ones because they're attached. It can be kind of hard to separate it off so you open it up. I think one thing that I'm gonna do this year is reduce my. I mean, I know this is made out of cardboard, but it is lined with PFAS. It's got like some plastic here, so it is quite a bit of waste. I think I'm gonna reduce my beverage intake, my non-water beverage intake. It's fun to, water is just so boring, you guys. Water is just, and like I do drink tea. I drink tea a lot. Dom, I think it's to prevent littering, and I bet it would work pretty well. To prevent those little bottle caps from just falling all over the place. Yeah. All it is like one simple little adjustment to the structure, and it probably reduces a lot of litter. But anyway, so progress is slow on my art project. Once we're done with this, we're gonna bring my little sculpture back, and we're gonna do it again. We're gonna paint over it again with the sealant, and then we'll wait. We'll wait for a few days. I don't anticipate it to be ready for the mold yet. The mold making. And also, I'm just kind of scared, to be honest. Last time was such a huge disaster. For those of you who are here, it was such a huge disaster. It was extremely overstimulating. So I'm kind of scared. But you know what? We're going to try again. We're trying again. Because I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. So is anybody else diving deep into something, jumping off the deep end, or just like diving right into a project? Dom definitely strikes me as somebody who just jumps into projects, and that's admirable. I'm trying to do more of that, just like saying yes and like just starting, just doing it. Just do it. As Shia LaBeouf once said, do it. You're already thinking about your next music project. That's crazy. So like guys, if you go to my Discord, Dom posted his new album, which is awesome, by the way. You came out with a single, like I want to say like a month ago, and then you came out with an album just recently, and you're already ready to start working on another one. That's awesome. The last one took ages because I couldn't think of an idea I wanted to put the effort in. Yeah, do you usually have to wait for inspiration to strike? You usually have to be like inspired before you start? That's something I've had a hard time with, is like waiting for inspiration. Because sometimes if you're waiting for inspiration, then it might never come. So some people say, just start, just do it. So that's why I've been just jumping into shit, just being like, well, the inspiration's not there, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. All right, let's see. I would really like to get rid of this 6 right here. That's a 4. Oh dear. Okay. Yikes. Okay, oh, right there. Excellent. That's awesome. Okay, so we got rid of the 6. Now we can get rid of these 2 2s. 2 2s. Get rid of this 5. And then the 7s. And then we're going fast now. We're getting a bit excited. I can't help it. When I'm excited. Dom says, I'm in a different place with it now because I really did all the music I wanted to, and now it's just if an idea really grabs me. Oh, I see. So you've kind of gotten all your thoughts out that you wanted to, and now you're just waiting for the inspiration. I do have the sense that it's what I'm best at and should keep making something or thinking about it. Well, I definitely do agree that I think you have a talent for music. I just think it's absolutely wild that you can just come up with things, just compose things. I studied piano. I learned piano for 10 years. And even then, like, I don't think I could still even compose anything. I think it requires a lot of patience. Just put hella time into it. Yeah. And that's the thing with any skill. You gotta just put time into it. That's what I've been trying to do with my yoga. I've been trying to just throw everything I have into it. Like I try to make time for it every day. I try and, work on things like slowly, like especially the balancing and the arm strength. I think it's going to, it was somebody who said that becoming an expert at something requires 10,000 hours of work. I don't know who said that, but that's something I've heard before. And I feel like it's true. You do have to put the time in. You do have to be willing to just grind and grind and grind with like nothing to show for it sometimes. There's in writing they have something called the marathon of the middle, where it's like you get inspired by an idea, right? And then you start writing it. And so you're writing it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting all this stuff out. But then eventually you start running out of steam, and you reach like you get like maybe 1/4 of the book done. And then you've got like, you got this stretch which lasts for like, I don't know, I want to say like 2/3 of the book, where it's like just slogging through the book. Like you have to force yourself basically to just go through it. And that's the trickiest part, is like getting through the writing of the middle, where you're like, you can't really see the end. The end is not in sight. You also have lost your inspiration. You just have to keep putting things in with nothing in return. You have to keep like putting everything you have into it. And that's really, really hard. And it's the people who are able to conquer the marathon in the middle that are able to finish the project. I always like that for music, and my book was like that. Yeah, like eventually you start to lose steam, and then you're like, oh, you just want to give up. Yeah, don't give up though. Don't give up. Okay, let's see. Do I not have any? Okay, look, we'll just go along. So 7, 5, 1. Oh dear. Okay, I think I might be cooked. We should use our freebie. Okay, what freebie should I use? I'm gonna use one freebie. I think I'm gonna use... Maybe I'll use... Oh dear, I don't know. I could use... $3S. Wait, where? This one and where? Are you saying I should use that as a freebie? Because I'm not seeing a match that's like readily available. Okay, you think it could help? Okay, so if I do this one and then what, like this one in the middle? We're gonna just do this. Okay, we're just gonna do it. Hi, Orange, how's it going? Orange, welcome. Okay. Sorry for back. No, you don't have to apologize. No, I appreciate your contributions. Because oh man, All right. I think we're done here. I think we're done. So we got this. We'll put it all down. Oh, we could do these ones. We could do... See, I think we would just keep getting stuck over and over and over. Orange, we were discussing... I know, no, I just think we would have gone, I don't think there's anything to save us, tweet. Who's winning? No one's winning, unfortunately. We're playing macro hard Mahjong. So instead of Microsoft, we're playing macro hard, which is real. Oh yeah, I already run. Yeah, I already won. Yeah. This is just the bonus part. Anyways, Orange, today we're talking about jumping into the deep end. We're talking about so I used it. Hello, Duncan. You'll be lurking. Hope everyone is well. Yes, of course. Well, thank you for being here. It's so nice to see you. I hope your weekend went well. So for those who just joined, today we're talking about, we just watched a very nice video from Brandon Sanderson, who said, "We are the art." That was his message. He was talking about AI art. The TLDR of that was that art has to do with the process. It has to do with the process of creating art. And if you have, and like, listen, if you enjoy making AI art, that's fine. Like, I'm not somebody who's like, have like super strong. I just mean like for the current artists who are trying to make art, who feel like slightly discouraged by the introduction of AI art, like what can be inspiring to them. And I think this is inspiring to them, is that AI will not take anything away from you. You have within you the means to create, you as a process are the art. And so I like to think of AI art as basically asking someone else to paint you a picture. And people commission art all the time. So that's, if that's what you want to do, if you want to just commission art. However, it's not going to have the same effect as like the process of producing art yourself, right? And so that's where the value would be lost. It would be the same amount of value as commissioning an artist. But if you yourself are creating the art, you're going through the process of banging your head against the wall. You're going through the process of making something mediocre and seeing how you change and evolve over time. Basically, it's just saying that we need to challenge ourselves. We need to go for things, even if they might not produce immediate value. They do, like art, even if it doesn't provide. We talked about this a while ago. Like, even if it doesn't provide financial value, it can still provide value in that it helped you learn a new skill. It helped you learn how to do something. It helped you produce something with your hands, which we talked about earlier. Producing things with your hands is so beneficial, I feel like, to your mental health and being able to say, wow, I made that. And so for people who are feeling discouraged by AI art and who are worried that our humanity will be lost and everything, nothing will be lost as long as we continue to value ourselves. As long as we continue to value ourselves and our contributions, then we don't have to worry. Eclectic always says you need 3 hobbies: one for your mind, One for your body and one for your hands. I love that. And for people who, that might seem overwhelming, maybe find something that's a combination. Reflex said, easy, that's food. Well, yeah, you could, like cooking. Cooking is creating and making art. You think about the recipe, you think about how the measurements, you ponder that. You're making things with your hands, you're stirring, you're cracking eggs, you're flipping things, you're producing, and then you're hopefully fueling your body in a way that it enjoys. So yeah, it can combine all three. Whether you want to have something that combines all three, or if you want to you have 3 different hobbies, that's up to you. But please find yourself a hobby. Please, please, please. That being said, I know how difficult it is to, when you are working, when you're like working, especially a 9 to 5, especially a really grueling job, it's hard to find the time to have a hobby. But trust me, if it's something that you really enjoy, I feel like you will make time for it. You might have to sacrifice other things in your life. Like you might not be able to watch Netflix, every night like you're used to. And that's something I used to do all the time, is watch, well, I still kind of watch it most nights. But you need to carve out time for yourself. Like find ways to carve out the time. Scheduling can really help. And this isn't like anything about you need to be as efficient as possible with your time. Like that could be overwhelming, where it's like, if I'm not doing something productive all the time, then I suck. That's not, I've fallen into that trap before. Something I like to do every week is make time to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like nothing. I'm not being productive at all. I'm just kind of sitting. It's on my Sundays. I only have time for Sunday afternoons. But my Sunday afternoon, I've completely booked it out. I won't see any friends. I won't spend time with my husband. I won't spend time doing chores. I've allocated that time for me to just do what I need to do my ritual, where I do my yoga, I do my bath, I do my like bathing ritual, taking care of my body, and I just sit in silence for hours by myself. So, well, sometimes I'll like, maybe in the beginning I'll have some music, but then later on I'll just be in absolute silence. Something I love doing. You guys, if you have a bath, if you guys have a bath, you gotta try this. And they do this in sensory deprivation tanks. I mean, that's what they are. You don't have to go to a sensory deprivation tank. Just if you have a bathtub, and I have a bathtub that's like, it's a standard, I'm 6 feet tall. And so do I fit in a standard bathtub? No. I have to I have to contort my body in weird way. I have to I have to be like kind of crunched in there, I'm kind of crunched in there. Sometimes I have to like put my legs up like this against the wall. And that's just like what I have to do. But one thing that I love doing is basically becoming a fetus. I become a fetus. Tall Girls Unite. Yeah. Hell yeah. I become a fetus. I put my head in the water. So the water is like body temperature. Okay. I allow my head to be submerged in the water. My face is still, I'm able to breathe and everything, and then I like put my legs up like this, and I just like let myself float in the water, and I can hear my own heartbeat through the water because the water is a little bit hot, so my circulation is extra. But there's something really calming about feeling like a fetus, becoming a fetus. It's almost like I'm in a womb. It's magical. It's spiritual. Okay, let me mute my mic for 1 second while I put all my blocks away. Hold on. Okay, that was so loud. That was, I think I should have worn earplugs for that. That was so loud. Okay, we're doing the second coat on our thing. We're doing the second, don't think I forgot. Got my art project here. This is what we'll do at the very end. I've got my varnish we're gonna use. Let's see. Oh yeah, it already dried out. Nice. So we're just gonna put on a second layer of varnish, and that will be that. Maybe we'll look at some additional memes, but becoming a fetus. Water, there's something about water that's so magical. I've always found water to be so magical. I feel like it gives me life. And if you find yourself a ritual where you're just able to reset every week, think about, yeah, Eclectic wants to be included in the tall girls. I'm sorry, Eclectic. You can be an honorary tall girl. You can be an honorary, I grant you honorary tall girl status. Although you don't automatically fit the criteria. You have tall girl energy. Okay, yeah, I feel like I agree with that. Tall girl energy. Who needs to be tall when you're one of the pot women? Fair. That's fair. Pot men assemble. Very true. Rest in peace to the pot men emoji. Gone but not forgotten. Rest in peace to all of our fallen pot men members. They will not be forgotten either. So this one's harder because now I can't see where I've already gone over. The first coat was easy because I was able to see where I covered, because it kind of looks, it looked a little bit wet, like it looked a little bit darker. But now it's like, I don't know. Genuinely, I have no idea. So I'm also trying to make it as smooth as possible so it's not super, textured. Technically, this varnish is supposed to provide a bit of texture for like paint to stick to, which I don't know, I'm not super bothered by, because I will be adding oil, mineral oil to it to prevent it from sticking. But yeah, that's later down in the process. We are not doing that today. I can't believe I tried to condense everything into one stream the other time I did it. Like doing 3 coats of this, then putting on the oil, then pouring the plaster all at one time, all in the course of like 3 hours. That was a bad. I was so excited, you guys. I wanted to see what the finished product would look like, and that's what happens when you do art, when only being motivated by the end result. Nope, you gotta enjoy the process. What happened? So tweet, it was an absolute fail. So this is 2.0. This is 2.0. The first one was destroyed in the great disaster, the plaster disaster. The plaster disaster. Basically, I just rushed everything, and then I didn't have the right ratio of plaster, which is very important. So the texture was all wrong, and I poured it, and plaster dries so fast. Plaster dries so quickly. So if you're not working immediately, then you better, you know. So it basically formed this like weird lump, and just this big blob of plaster, and then it didn't separate. It stuck to this, and then it kind of damaged the clay because like the varnish wasn't completely dry. So it was a whole thing. I got so overstimulated, but we pushed through. I mean, we kept streaming throughout all of it, even though I was like on the verge of having a panic attack, literally. Sometimes we just stream on the verge of a panic attack because we're real on this channel. Oh, by the way, guys, in like 45 seconds, there's going to be an ad. Sorry about that. I wonder if I should pause ads. Okay, I'm going to snooze the ads, actually. We're going to see if we can snooze the ads for the rest of the time. I despise ads. I despise ads. But yeah. I'm already getting a good feeling about this one because it's a lot thicker. So the other thing is that the sculpture was too thin too, and I think it was also still wet. The clay had not completely dried, so we allowed this to dry for 2 weeks. So this is bone dry. Yeah, the Eclectic the Pot emote isn't available anymore. And I don't know, they took it off. Oh crap. Okay, that had varnish on it. Oh frick. Oops. We got varnish on her sweater. Whoops. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy too. I was really pissed, to be honest. And if you saw me at the end of the stream, I was saying I was gonna give up. I was saying, like, I'm never doing this again, like, okay, well, we're not doing that again. But I'm glad that I got over myself and tried again. I didn't film the creation of this secondary one. I just wanted to do it. But we're filming this process now, just because I wanted to do it with you guys. So I probably will not stream the plaster process because that is just too much. It's like, because I have to act so quickly, I can't be focused on chat and like focused on getting and the setup and everything. Like I'm just like, you know, the camera angle and everything. So I'm gonna do the plaster part off screen. But don't you worry, we're gonna do the whole mushroom process on camera. And that's what I'm most excited about. We're gonna be filming the process of how to grow mushrooms in the mold, from the mold in the mold, you know. So yeah, I hope this works, Dom. Okay, well, I think we got everything. We got it. We finished our second coat. So let's go and look at some memes to finish off. I gotta do a shorter stream today because I gotta prepare my lesson plan. So let's look at the rest of the memes that we have for today. And then we'll exit. Oh wait, let me turn on my display capture. Whoops, not that. Okay. I don't want someone like you. I want real estate. I like this. I just love surreal memes, you guys. It's my favorite genre of memes. It's just like there's some existential dread mixed into it. There's some just silliness, tomfoolery mixed in. Sometimes you don't really know what it's saying, but that's okay because I don't think anybody really knows. You can just take it's open. It's up to interpretation. Whatever you think it means, that's what it means. This is true art. You know, AI could never create something this magical. And people be like, what utility are you getting from this? And it's like, I don't know. The most surreal memes tend to contain the most realism. You think so? That's funny. The most truth. Yeah, the ones I find the most interesting, Refly, are definitely ones that I feel like apply to my own experience. Those are the ones. I mean, the ones that I genuinely don't understand anything. Sometimes I tend to. I mean, some of them are just like absurd, like just completely absurd. Here's another one. Progress takes time. We don't have time. This kind of looks like ramen noodles in the background, but I don't think it is. I think it's like a chain necklace of some kind. Progress takes time. We don't have time. True. That's why we're saying you need to start now. Surely that's lean. That could potentially be, that could be lean. Kids, do not do this. Please do not. Lean is not a good substance to be using. Refly, yeah, so it's like a street drug. They like mix cold medicine and a bunch of different substances together and drink it, and it has some sort of effect. Just don't. Cough syrup and soda. Oh, okay. Just don't. The purple stuff is purple drank. Yeah, you could call this a drank for sure. It's something that it just looks like it would very much hurt your stomach. Are these joints down here? I don't know, honestly, but listen, the message is progress takes time. We don't have time. Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah. Start now. Do it now. I'm talking to you. I'm making eye contact with you, even though I don't like it. Start now. What are you doing? Are you starting? It's okay. It's okay if it takes 10 million years. That's how long this art project is taking. It's been taking months. And if it takes you months, it takes you. If it takes you years, it takes you years. But as long as you're working on it, just start. I think it's a parody of Bling Eric album covers. Yeah, it could be. I need to know what I know, yeah, it's... Sometimes you just never know what was meant by the... And that's the joy of surreal memes. Alright, my friends. I think it's time to finish. Let me see if there's anybody I can raid. I do have to work on my lesson plan. But we'll see. We'll see. Who is live currently? Ooh, okay, wait. 2/3 Lotus is... You guys wanna listen to some poetry? You guys wanna listen to somebody who has a very, very nice voice, by the way. Very chill stream. Reading chats poetry. I don't know if they started streaming yet. Let me see. Their name's Imogen.
As like a chat.
Yeah, they started. Okay, let's go. We'll listen to them do some I love 2/3 Lotus. Yeah, we have. We're gonna do it again. I haven't been. I always end up watching the VODs because I enjoy listening to their voice read stuff. You will feel calm with this. So if you're lurking right now, like, you're gonna enjoy lurking at this channel. So yeah, their voice is so soothing. No, literally, yeah. So I'm excited. Okay, you guys, I'm probably not gonna stream tomorrow. I've got teaching for 6 hours. So we're not gonna have anything tomorrow, but on Wednesday, we'll stream on Wednesday probably. So I'll see you later. Okay, bye-bye.